I don't want to sit here and oversell this. I don't want to oversell and have you think this is going to be something it's not, or, oh, Jason, you're a prisoner of the moment, or whatever it is. But I'm telling you how large this Caleb Williams story is. According to ESPN, Seth Wickersham's new book. And like, just think about when I say Seth Wickersham, what do you think of? Oh, ESPN, the Patriots.
He hates
book.
the Patriots.
Everybody hates each other. Look, Bob Kraft right now is like, thank goodness people can ask him about a different book, and it's not just us, right?
He's like, I wrote other stories beyond this one. There's lots of quarterback material. I promise.
All the dysfunction with the Patriots, how Kraft hated Belichick, who hated Brady, who got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, all this stuff. Now it's Caleb Williams and his dad in the crosshairs. Now, Seth Wickersham's got a new book coming out called American Kings, a biography of the quarterback. And what it is, it's about the quarterback position and players who play it from high school to college to the NFL, and what it's like for legends in retirement. So you get all these star quarterbacks from what it's like in high school, and he talks about the recruitment of Arch Manning, to what it's like playing in college, which gets into the Caleb Williams part of it, and then greats playing now, and the ones who have retired like Elway, Johnny Unitas, Warren Moon, Steve Young, all of these. Kirk Cousins and Drake May also in the book right now. But all the smoke is coming because of what's going on with Caleb Williams, where according to Seth Wickersham's book, Caleb Williams was so concerned about being picked by the Bears that before the draft last year, he and his family tried to circumvent the entire thing. They talked with lawyers to try to find a way around the league's collective bargaining agreement. Potentially, they considered signing with the United Football League. I'm going to play here for a year, and then I'll be a free agent, and I can go anywhere, because neither of them wanted him to start his career with the Bears. A quote from Carl Williams, according to the book, "Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die." This is a quote that Carl Williams told Seth Wickersham. This is not, hey, Seth Wickersham got this third-hand sources say this. This is Carl Williams telling Seth Wickersham Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die. Caleb Williams, do I want to go there? I don't think I can do it with Shane Waldron there, the former Bears OC. Now, the good news is Shane Waldron's not there anymore, but this is what it was like leading up to the draft. They trying to find a way out, didn't want to go to the Bears. When Caleb Williams met various representatives from the Vikings, they really liked the Vikings, wanted to get to the Vikings, tried to get around things. They don't like the rookie cap. They don't like the CBA. They don't like any of it, and potentially they look to try to get out of going number one overall. I got to tell you this, and here's the thing, and this is, whether you like it or not, this is the reality. Caleb Williams has a month to, and I mean beginning of the season, has a month to play well, because if not, it's over for him in Chicago. When you say Chicago is the place quarterbacks go to die, I don't want to go to Chicago. That upsets your teammates. It upsets the coach, even though it's new coaches, coaching staff, and the fans and the media are going to be relentless. He is never going to get the benefit of the doubt. Oh, you don't want to be in our city? You don't want to be here? Okay, you know what? We don't need you. If he starts out and plays great, okay, it'll be a tenuous relationship at best, right? Tenuous at best. But if he plays well, fans will forgive, but they'll sit and wait. They'll wait for him to have a bad 3-game streak and say, this guy's got to go. If he doesn't start out big, then Chicago's going to have no choice but to move on from him after next year, because you can't have a guy there who never wanted to be there, because he never wanted to go to Chicago, right? He's got to do all kinds of damage control now about this. Like, I don't care what you told Seth Wickersham. I don't care if it's something that's out there that, hey, we said this, we said this. You got to distance yourself from this, because you have just royally screwed your career, right? Caleb Williams and his dad have royally screwed his career. I said last hour, they know just enough to be dangerous, right? Just enough to, hey, let's try to circumvent the league, and all these things they tried to do. Well, we didn't know all about that. We had heard there were things under the surface that maybe Caleb Williams didn't want to go to the Bears, but he went there, got drafted, everything seemed fine. But now you have made it combative with a city and an entire fan base. And what should have been an era of good feeling going in, all the weapons they got in the last 2 off seasons, how good the drafts have been, now it's going to be, this guy's got a clock on his career in Chicago, because they were crazy enough and not forward-thinking enough to go, if we're saying this to a guy about a book, it's going to get out there. And, oh, by the way, we're okay with going to Chicago. Did you think they were just going to magically disappear? Like, that's what I mean. Like, they know, like Carl Williams, as his dad, knew just enough to be dangerous because all he's done is screw Caleb Williams' career and made it more difficult for him, knowing full well you can't circumvent the NFL draft. You can't do any. All you could have done is just call the Bears and say, we're not going to play for you. We're not going to play. Like, if you wanted to get out of Chicago that bad, how did you not do what Eli Manning did? I would have told you in 2 seconds. Don't listen to your dad. Don't listen to anybody else. Just tell the Bears you're not going to sign. And when they draft you number 1 overall, you call them and say, thank you very much. I'm not playing here. And they would have found a way to trade you to someplace else where you wanted to go. Because that's how you play. You don't go through whole behind the whole scenes, I don't want to go to Chicago. And then you wind up there? Like, again, you neither need to be on top of the situation or understand this is what it's going to take. And in an era of sports, when stars always get what they want, if you say I'm not going to play there, you got to trade me, the Bears aren't going to sit here and say, no, we're going to force you to do it. They would have forced their hand. They would have traded them somewhere else, got another quarterback in advance, or somehow dealt Caleb Williams away to another team, and they would have built, and it would be a different guy playing quarterback for the Bears. They would hate Caleb Williams in Chicago, but that's okay, because Caleb Williams doesn't have to play in Chicago, only when he has to visit there, whatever odd games. Now, the players, the fans, the media, they know he didn't want to be there, and he's got to play there. How is that smart? How is that a smart thing? The next time someone's family member is involved in an athlete story and it's a positive, it will be the very first time, because this has helped to nearly ruin what he's got going on in Chicago.
Would it make it worse if you would attribute that quote to me, as I've been saying it for as long as I've been in media or talking to people about the Bears? It's where quarterbacks and wide receivers go to die. And what Williams did, he said the quiet part out loud, to Seth Wickersham, about his disbelief that the current staff, as constructed, could get Caleb Williams everything he needed. And again, there have been arguments about the draft and its legitimacy for many, many years. This is not the first time this has come up. You invoke the name of Eli Manning. Well, you also talk about John Elway going all the way back, right? Who's part of this book as well. I can't wait to read it. Is he tied into this chapter at all? Because, they went through their processes and got to where they wanted to go. And guess what? Eventually, Eli Manning's going to be a Hall of Famer, and John Elway's arguably top 3, top 5, depending on how you come down on quarterbacks or how much you decide you want to rate Terrell Davis's life and activity there. One of the quarterbacks of all time. But for Caleb Williams, we had seen this going back we talked about it last February because it came up as a discussion point with Colin Cowherd, that he was hearing from people associated with the camp that Caleb didn't want to go there. Okay, could have forced it. And from the bits and pieces we got out of Wickersham, I listened to an interview he did at The Score locally there this afternoon. It's like, well, he decided he, quote, wasn't going to nuke the city. So it's a rallying point for fans right now because he didn't want to be Elway and Manning and what they did in terms of, to hell with all those people. I'm not going to play there. Because from an organization standpoint, I think the rational folks say that's what the Bears have been. So why do I want to be the next in a long line with a guy who's already walking the plank before we played it down? So they find some solace in the fact that Ben Johnson's all in. Like, none of this is concerning to him. Now, for Caleb Williams, to your point, yeah, he has put a spotlight on himself because all of these reports are blaming. The stuff that becomes most damning to me, Jason, is they didn't even watch film with me. That's where it was. That's how bad things got. They didn't watch film with me. And every turn has been kind of a, hey, it's not Caleb's fault. Look at what the hand he was dealt. So, yes, he now has all the tools at his disposal, all the toys. They went and fortified the offensive line. There's no excuses. You have to perform. This certainly doesn't help, but I think the rationale of it is something that a lot of us certainly those from Chicago, understand exactly where Mr. Williams and company were going, and the business of the NFL is one that's always had at least a few scribes trying to figure out where the legalities are of some of these processes. How many times have we talked about the draft through the years, you here and in prior iterations of your career, where you're like, it doesn't feel right, where you get forced to go somewhere. You get to play in the league, sure, but you have no choice. And your career may go to die. You'll make some money, but you'll be miserable, right? So for Caleb Williams, the fact that behind the scenes and, however they got hooked into Wickersham, whether Williams his dad started sending a bunch of tweets and texts at him. And look, he's been very active on social media calling out the Bears coaching staff for all of their faults. But I don't think he's had to explain away all the extra sacks that Caleb took by holding on to the ball too long. That's the part that needs to change for Caleb Williams to truly win over Chicago. But saying I won't nuke the city is a nice start.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how that's a bit. Hey, he won't nuke us. Oh, that's great. He loves us. No, he didn't really say that. He just said, I don't know how.
Well, he said he loved you. That he didn't want to destroy your confidence and love.
I don't know how he gets past this. Like, how do you get past this in your career? I got drafted by a city I never wanted to be in. Like,
Very easy, Jason. He balls out.
How? Yeah, but if he doesn't,
that's the only way out.
Look at, like I said, that's why he's put a clock on his career. He's got a month to try to figure things out. Like a month to begin the season. If he's bad, everybody's going to, and they'll have no choice but to trade him. But instead of, hey, you got a couple of years, you flashed a little bit last year, they have a team that's locked and loaded, ready to go. They're not going to go through a season in which, hey, their star quarterback, he doesn't want to be here, right? You never want anybody on your team who you think doesn't want to be there. Is he all in? He can sit here and tell Ben Johnson how all in he is, and that's great. But if he stinks the first month, guess what? Okay, it's not going to work. The fans don't like him. The media is never going to give him a pass. I know that players in the locker room are mad. He's not going to have any friends. He's not going to have any friends. They're going to have no choice but to trade him as soon as, again, probably in the next offseason. We got to move on from Caleb Williams. That's what happens. Unreal.